Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Today is going to be the January 2023 update to my best weapons in Modern Warfare 2, Warzone 2, and DMZ. I plan to do these like every 90 days, because hopefully there'll be a couple balance patches that will kind of change up the meta in a way, and the guns I prefer to use. So this will be this update. I'm also going to include the best perks used in multiplayer, because I see a lot of people using certain perks, and they don't seem to be that good in my opinion, so maybe I can help some people use some perks that they get more benefit out of. This shouldn't be a too long video, but we're going to get right into it here. And we're going to move straight over to the game. And right here, the obvious first choice is the RPK. The RPK is kind of good at everything, whether it's multiplayer, DMZ, or Warzone. It's a Kastov 7.62 with less recoil and a bigger mag by default. So this is my setup here for multiplayer. The OLED laser and the rear grip are kind of compensating the aim down sight so it's not too slow. But putting these first three attachments on it make it a laser beam. It's not no recoil because that doesn't really exist, but it's very limited recoil. We'll jump into the fire range and I'll show you real quick. I mean, it's very manageable, even though I'm terrible and missed my first shots on this first dummy. The reload time's a little slow, but 75 rounds by default with this little recoil and this good a range is kind of nuts. I think the RPK will probably get a nerf soon, but for now, I think this is probably the best gun in almost every scenario. It doesn't have the downside of the 7-second reload the other LMGs do, so it's a really solid choice. And then to talk about the perks real quick, the perk system in this game obviously changed, but in the first slot, there's not a lot of perks I would use. I think Tracker, Strong Arm, and the Extra Tactical aren't very good. You could be cheesy with the Extra Tactical and use the OP flash grenades, but the only ones I really run are Scavenger because I run out of ammo all the time in multiplayer, and Bomb Squad. I was watching, I think it was Exclusive Ace's video. This makes it so an explosive literally can't one-shot you, and everything's capped at 80 damage. And it does about 30% reduction to everything, but it literally means that they have to direct impact you or stick you with something to kill you with an explosive. It's extremely good. I run this on every class no matter what. Battle Harden, I actually think is completely almost useless in this game. The flashes are so strong, and it's such a slight reduction that you might as well take the extra 0.3 seconds of being flashed and just not run Battle Harden. Double time's not bad. Being fast is good. That's just a preference thing. And overkill, if you want to carry two primaries, it's the only way to do it. But for me, it's Scavenger and Bomb Squad every single time. The bonus perks are very interesting. Resupply might be good for Warzone or DMZ, but it's not. I don't think there's a real purpose for it in multiplayer. Spotter, again, could be used in a bigger thing, but Cold-Blooded and Fast Hands are about all I would use. Score streaks aren't super hard in this game, so Hardline doesn't seem very good, but extra reload speed and using your equipment faster is insanely useful. Cold-Blooded, if you're getting killed by VTOLs and gunships and stuff, this is the only way to go. But yeah, that's Fast Hands for me is my perk on every single tier 2 slot, just the reload speed, because some of the guns, especially SMGs, have pretty long reload times, and they're normally not that long in Call of Duty. Ultimate perks, surprisingly, there's only two ones I would use. High Alert is this, I think if you're at that point where High Alert's flashing behind you, you're probably dead. Ghost is overpowered in this game. You don't even have to move. You can sit in one spot and they can't see you with anything. Quick Fix is the second best perks. I use this one quite a bit. The instant health regen is just nuts. You can be in the middle of 4 people, you pick up 1 kill, and all of a sudden you're back in the fight. Overclock, I'm never going to use it. Survivor, I think it's his last stand, but worse, because you have to revive yourself and you can't fight back. And Bird's Eye, while it's cool and can do a lot for you, I don't want to trust rely on people to have UAVs, because I can get 1 a life, but I don't trust my teammates to get UAVs, so I don't want to do something that enhances something I can't control. So Ghost and Quick Fix for me in these 2 slots. Alright, now that we're done with perks, we're going to move on to the second gun, and this is actually the newest gun in the game. This is the Chimera. I think the Chimera is probably my favorite gun in this game based on feel. It feels really good. It feels snappy. It feels like an SMG AR hybrid. This is my what I run in multiplayer. The only thing to change for Warzone or DMZ, and it's the same thing for that RPK, is just put an optic on it and take the laser off. That's pretty much the change I make most of the time. The aim down sight speed isn't as necessary in DMZ and Warzone, so I would just go for the optic instead of the laser. But if you look at it, this gun fires really fast and actually has a very good time to kill, and it's super easy to use. it feels like it's like in between those ARs and SMGs like I was talking about. It kills fast, and then the headshot multiplier, well, that's not looking good. The headshot multiplier is very, very good on it. So it's a very consistent gun. You kill people very fast consistently. It might not be as fast as some of the SMGs, but it's slightly slower, but it's way more consistent. All right, moving on to the next AR. There's 3 ARs total, and I left off the 7.62, the Kastov, just because the recoil is so much higher than the rest of the guns, and I feel like the time to kill difference doesn't warrant it. And then the tac, I don't know what the reason is, but the tac's fallen out of favor for me with the buff to the Kastov 545. Now, the Kastov 545 when this game came out was like my least favorite AR, maybe even as bad as the M16, but they've actually buffed it quite a bit. It just got a 3-shot kill range, which makes it be able to kill in 1 less bullet than the M4 with a similar fire rate. So, like, it just melts people now up close. And it's always been competitive at long range. Up close is where it struggled. But now that it has this extra 3-shot kill range, this thing is nuts. And I'd probably say was probably the best gun in the game other than the RPK. It is nuts for multiplayer. This thing's aim down sight speed's not even bad, and I have the longest barrel on it. I don't know if they overcompensated or what it was, but this gun has literally like the closest thing to no recoil as you can have, and it just shreds. It's nuts. These are the attachments I go with, and then for a Warzone and DMZ build, I would take off the laser and put on the 60-round mag, just because, again, aim down sight speed not as important in Warzone or DMZ because of the way the engagements work. All right, moving to the last AR is the old reliable. Shows up in every single Call of Duty. It's the M4. It's because this gun's reliable, it's consistent, and it's so easy to use that you can almost never go wrong. Again, Warzone DMZ, take off this laser and use the optic. I don't use a barrel on this M4 because it falls to a 5-shot kill at like 20 to 30 meters in that range. So getting an extra 20% range doesn't help a whole lot in my opinion. And they all have such slow like ADS speeds on this long one, the high tower. It slows you down so much. I just don't think it's worth it even in Warzone. But to show you the recoil on this build and the aim down sight speed, it aims down sight really fast, and it has little to no recoil. It's very, very fast. You can hit people from any range. The gun still moves faster. Mobility is not shot even with the 45-round mag on it. It's just very, very good. And I feel like Call of Duty can't make a game where the M4 is bad. It's just not possible. And then moving on to the 2 SMGs in this category. SMGs are a little weird for Warzone and DMZ, but for multiplayer, they kind of shred. And I think the Lockman sub is still, like my last video, the best SMG, just because of consistency's sake. The range feels like it's a little bit better, and then the recoil is very manageable. It's just a very consistent gun, and you don't have to worry about early range drop-off. The only downside is this reload is way longer than it has been in previous games. The reload speed is nuts. And again, Warzone DMZ, take off this laser and put an optic on it. And then the last one is the most underrated gun in this game. The pros use it constantly, I get melted by it constantly, but it's this FazNav. It has a really good 3-shot kill range, it moves fast, and even with the longest barrel, an underbarrel, and a mag on it, your aim down sight speed isn't bad. And it just doesn't move. You kill so fast it doesn't move. At ranges it struggles more than the Lockman does because it has so much visual recoil, and then it drops off in range a little faster. But up close, like within 20 meters, this gun is just insane. I know a lot of people will probably say the Fennec immediately, and while the Fennec is definitely the fastest killing gun in the game, I think there's too many downsides with it. So you have to put that 45-round mag on it, in my opinion. You need it. But that slows you down so much, and by the time you're aimed in and ready to go, the MP5 will have 2 shots on you. So while it's insane, and I know a lot of people do well with it, and I'm saying if you love it, use it. It's just not for me. So these are my guns. These are the top 6 guns in my opinion, all for Warzone and DMZ. I'm going to flash up the flash steps one more time for all of you. And pretty much when it comes to tuning, I prioritize damage range first, recoil steadiness, aiming idle, and then bullet velocity. I just go all the way to those. That might not be the ideal way to do it, but it's simple and it works for me. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. I plan to do another one of these in about 2.5-3 months. Hopefully there'll be a couple balance passes and something will change here. But feel free to subscribe to the channel for those videos, and I'll have plenty of DMZ videos up. I'm really into DMZ right now. I'm preparing a guide to kind of help everyone do a little better, kind of talk about the spawns, what contracts to avoid, what areas are hotspots. So if you're interested in DMZ, go ahead and stick around, and I'll have a video out soon. Thank you very much. Have a good day.